and this is The Biggest Lunch Ever. It's episode 8, and the theme today is diaper rash, but it's actually about vulnerability. So hopefully you are able to join me or watch this later. But for those of you who are new to The Biggest Lunch Ever, what it is I'm asking people for prompt responses so that we have some sort of a theme, like this is vulnerability, and then I'm asking people to respond to that theme so that I'm getting a bunch of opinions or a bunch of people's experiences to really level or neutralize the playing field and help others feel like, oh, I'm not so alone. So today I came to this as vulnerable. I'm actually helping a friend clean her house. She's in a vulnerable situation too, where she is moving from a large home and is in the process of a divorce. So that's tricky, and I thought I'm just gonna wear this to, instead of changing and taking the time, because right after this I'll run back and help her finish what she's doing there. So today I have my kids with me. This is Peter. Hi. And this is Jane. Hello. Sorry, because of the format, it's small. Hey Timothy. And how are you? I hope you're doing well. Then I have another surprise here with us, a surprise guest, which some of you will know because I've been posting a lot about it, but are these kittens. Jane, do you want to grab the kittens?
Yeah, okay.
We're going to grab a few of them because they're in their box sleeping. They're super cute.
One too.
Yeah, Peter, why don't you scoot over? Come here, Mama Cat. We'll see if Freya, she's the Mama Cat. It's Freya after the Norse goddess of love. Freya, come here. Here's one of the kittens. Meow. Oh, it came to say hello. It's got a camera presence. Cute. Freya, come here. Oh, we'll have a kitty parade. There's another one. Cute. Oh. Good, Tim. I'm glad you're well. You want to grab another one? Come on, everybody loves kittens. Freya, come here and show yourself. Come here. She's like, I'm not into this. The people are touching my kittens.
Oh, sorry, darling.
Do you want to grab Freya?
I can grab her.
Okay.
There's another kitten. There's a baby. She's very loud.
When she was born, she literally was born and then started meow, meow.
I think she wants to clean.
Yeah,
okay.
Now she's making sure that they're okay. But Freya, the mama's there too. So maybe during the show today, we'll show you Freya. But you guys, I wanted to read what the actual prompt was that I sent out to people, and I'm going to move this painting over. The prompt was that I sent out to get some responses, and I didn't have a ton of responses, so hopefully next time I'll have more. But it was diaper rash. We've all had it, and some of us beyond being a baby. Are you too stifled in life? Tell me your story in 250 words or less. I'm the fool, you say to yourself. Why am I sharing all of this personal, vulnerable information? Because that's why. You might just find you are the luckiest fool around. By exposing our vulnerability, we gain, so it's worth the sharing. And then, yeah, I've shown you our kittens. That was the next thing on my docket, but we couldn't help ourselves. Those kittens are kind of valuable to us. So you guys, I just wanted to talk today about vulnerability a little bit, and I do have one prompt that somebody sent to me, so I'll read that as well. But the bottom line with vulnerability is really that allowing yourself the time and space to figure out being kind of free of emotion and honest with yourself, to let your guard down and just say, this is my struggle, this is what my need is, this is where I need help in my life, or things might not appear as they seem, right? And we all have those experiences in our life where things may not appear as they seem. And for the people that know me, you know that I teach about vulnerability as our pathway through fear, right? So if we're having a situation where we're afraid, and I'll talk about this with entrepreneurs, it's very common, and even people in jobs. Like I watch my husband right now, he's kind of experiencing this too, where they'll learn something and know how to do it, and then they'll know that they have to move on to the next level. And there's a lot of fear, particularly the higher we get. There's this, we can have imposter syndrome, or these places where we think, how come I get to do that, or why? And we must surpass that in order to get to that next plateau. And then, lo and behold, there will be more fear to surmount later. So it's a constant process in life. But that vulnerability of saying to somebody, when we hit that next level, I don't know how to do this. I'm scared. I don't know who to ask for help. Do you do you have the answers to my questions? These are just great ways, right? So that we can get the support that we need and not feel afraid of that. When we show that to others, then they surprise us often. They're like, oh, I have that going on too, or this is going on in my life, and they'll open up. And our world needs a lot more of that. Definitely needs a lot more of that vulnerability. So That's sad. I'm going to read the first prompt and then see if my kids have anything to talk about with vulnerability. They're a little camera shy, like, oh. But I said, just be themselves. And I have a bright light in front of me that now is making the paper kind of funny looking. So bear with me. I'm going to read it from this paper here. But this is from Joyce, and it's, when I think about diaper rash, I think about my son. He had such a bad diaper rash when he was a baby. I changed him often. Left his little bum out in the fresh air as much as I could, and still, red, raw, angry diaper rash. Turns out it was the ingredients of the wipes that was causing his rash. I thought I was doing the right thing by buying the expensive Most Plush soft wipes, but in the end, the very thing designed to prevent the diaper rash were in fact causing it. When I think about how that memory relates to my life now, what comes to mind is how when I was getting my coaching business up and running, I tried to follow the advice of some experts who were telling me what I should and shouldn't do in my business. And they thought, I thought they were the experts. They must know something that I don't. As soon as I listened to my own instinct and my own gut instead of them, and started being myself and doing what felt right to me, I started to have much better results. So lessons learned, always use unscented baby wipes on your baby's butt, and instead of just allowing or following what others say, listen to your own gut. And in both cases, it might mean airing out your bare ass for all to see, but that's how the healing really happens. And I thought that was a really beautiful way to end that statement. We have to bare ourselves or show who we are in ways that might be uncomfortable, really, in that vulnerability. So thanks, Joyce. I really appreciate you sharing that. And now for my kids. Who wants to go? Peter.
Should I just scoot over?
Yeah, we'll scoot. I'm going to eat my lunch because I have to go back to my friends. Here's my lunch.
Oh, move my foot. Wait,
I'm sorry, Jade. This is kind of comical.
Okay, so me and myself in my life recently, I've been dealing with some stress, and I've been feeling kind of anxious, and some people may have been a little vulnerable to some people listening more to what they say, but really, in the end, you have to listen to yourself, and you have to do what seems right to you and follow what your own mind says. And that really has worked, and you don't have to listen to other people.
Nice, Peter. Yeah, Peter just had a situation where he had to share with somebody something that was really difficult. And when he did that, there's a lot at stake there for him. And he's had to hold this position of, I know what's right for me, and I need to say to you that doesn't feel right to me, and I'm feeling this or that. And he's done a really incredible job with it, I think. I mean, I always say to my kids, when I see them do things that are ahead of their time, I'm like, some 28-year-olds can't do that. You know what I mean? I think what Peter just surmounted is like, some 60-year-olds don't know that. And that's a big achievement, to understand how to know inside of yourself that's not working for yourself, and tell the other person the clear communication. And Peter, in this sense, wrote a letter saying, this is what I feel, so he could read it and make it really clear for them. So he was being fair and thinking about, their needs, who they are, and how they respond. And I just think, it's an awesome way. So, So that's cool. Yay, Peter! Okay, move over.
Okay, my turn. Okay, I came up with one. Oh, you can't see my face.
Jane, where are you?
I'm-
We can move
I'm
this.
here. Hello.
Okay, we'll move over further.
Okay.
There we go.
So I am
Jane.
Jane. I'm Jane. Nice to meet you. I was barely on camera.
And
it's
Jane
weird.
is 16
I
and
am
Peter is
16, yeah.
14.
Yeah, I'm going to 11th grade. That's weird to think.
That's big,
Ah,
Jane!
yeah.
Congratulations!
So when I was in about 8th grade, I joined a group of my friends with, we did a Future Cities thing, which we would go, and there was like a theme of the year, and I think that year it was, I think it was something to do with like recycling or something, and so I was like, this sounds really fun, we're doing it for extra credit, let's just get together with friends and do this. So I have some friends I've had since elementary school, which is quite, when you're in 8th grade and you've had the same friends for about 9 years, it should kind of be a warning sign. So there was a new person that we just like brought into our group, and like it was a whole thing. And I am a big writer, and I've always loved writing, I've always been super with it. And so when it came to writing the essay for our group, I like got up and I'm like, hey, I can write the essay for this. And they're like, we already did it. We've already started it. We don't need you to be there. And I'm like, oh. And this wasn't the first time I felt a little bit like my stuff had been pushed aside. There was another person in the group who'd been very, quite, what's the word, not super great about letting people put their ideas on board and kind of just wanting to do what he wanted to do. And so I had to finally, like, I am not a great person when it comes to confrontation. But this time I was like, okay, I need to say something. Like, I let everything go. And I just said to him, this is not okay. I need to be able to have a part. I need to be able to do this. And I had been having so much stress about this group. And as soon as I said that, I felt like I was freed. I'm like, I just need to tell you all this stuff. And he's like, okay. So we understand this. And like we all came to an understanding. And I ended up just not doing the group anymore anyway, and I just felt so much better about it. But it was not until I'd gotten to that point where I'd told them what I truly felt that I was truly happy again. Yeah.
Nice, thanks, Jane. And I think that speaks a bit with Jane's scenario that, you know, we can also shift within that process. Like, we can ask for what we want, and then somebody can't come through, or they meet that for a while, and then it changes, and our heart changes where it's like, this isn't going to be what we want to do. And just that clear communication, a lot of what we do well comes through communication, right? When we're working with individuals, working with other people, it is just being succinct about things. I even think I had a situation where the title of this, The Biggest Lunch Ever, was taken by somebody, and I know them, they heard it from me. And I had to call them out and say, this is what's what, you know? And then I had to call them out on another level. And that experience, they received it so well, you know, that they were like, oh my gosh, that's never what I meant. And, you know, that I think that we can be surprised. And it taught me a lot about communication and things like Jane saying where, you know, she's not comfortable with conflict. I think a lot of people aren't because Freya's here. There's the mama. Freya, look in the camera. That people aren't confident with conflict because I think we thought that conflict was unlovable, that it made us unlovable, instead of that it makes us having a problem, and we are asking the other person to, you know, stop something or start something or help us, and it gets confused. I think that message has gotten confused in the height of masculinity. Again, there's nothing wrong with masculinity, it's just it got way too much masculine going on and not enough feminine balance. So you all know we're wrestling our way out of that. And if you're watching the news right now, or yesterday, that President Trump was with Kim Jong-un in North Korea, and that was a really interesting interaction. I would, as a spiritual developing thing for yourself, really say maybe you go and watch on YouTube or some other place a video of them, their behavior with one another as they're walking into wherever they were going. I don't know if it's an official building or where he lives. It was a beautiful building nonetheless. But the behavior between the two of them shows a lot about masculinity and where it went in its intensity. But sort of this placating and so on is going on there. So that was interesting. I was at a restaurant yesterday and saw that come up, and I couldn't get my eyes off the TV. And normally I'm somebody who really frowns on going to a restaurant that has a television in it. You know, I'm not into the sports, and I want to spend time talking to each other. But that really impacted me to watch the behaviors between the two of them. And I think that actual interaction of what happened there will crack open a lot more vulnerability, but for our world, I think that that's going to change some major things going forward, as it has even for President Trump to tweet about Kim Jong-un and create that intensity. And now look at what's happened as they've come closer together. And we might be afraid in the eyes of that and thinking, oh my gosh, Micah, what are they going to do? What are they going to cook up? But I think that we can put our hearts in the place of maybe that's a massive expansion that's going on. Kim Jong-un, in my estimation, has been pretty unreachable, and somebody reached him, and so that we can look at that as the precipice of something bigger and greater of connections in our world, and aim for that. So hopefully that's not causing any struggle in your life, but you're seeing it as something that's got full potential. Anything else, kiddos?
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah.
No? Do we need another kitten visitor? Is Mom like, no?
Yeah, no, she's like, nope.
I don't really have anything else, you guys. I just want to impress upon you, ask your friends for help. I have a small group of friends right now that came together last fall, and we didn't totally click, but you know how you'll try and put a group of people together to see how it works. And now these three women and myself are really relying on each other for things that that women need in all sorts of ways. The emotional support through, like, my friend today that's going through this process. I can see in her needs, and I can activate and meet those and ask her questions to see, what is she ready to have help with in these greater ways. And, I just think that those types of relationships right now are quite key for us. So working on developing those and being open to who those players might be, and not judging, well, are they going to fit? Is this going to work? But just being open to how it all comes together. This group happened to surprise the heck out of me because they're the most unlikely suspects, But I think that that's something that makes it a very profound interaction and work. Sometimes when those things come together, it is the divine hand, right? Like, I couldn't have planned that or known that. I just opened the opportunity, and then this magic kind of came in. So look around, who are those players in your life to support you through this journey, and how can you be vulnerable with them and practice there where it's safe, opening to these greater people who might be more resistant, might be more difficult to have a conflict with them or communicate, hey, these are my needs, and I really need you to hear me. All right, everybody, have a really great month. Next month, I'm going to be potentially in some far-off land, so you better show up. I won't be dressed in my dirties. And I won't be with my kids. They're going to be in far-off lands in different places. So hopefully you'll join me, because it would be quite fun to have that. It won't be lunchtime for me where I'll be. So I'll leave that as a teaser. If you know friends that this would impact, or others, family, so on, please share The Biggest Lunch Ever with them as well, and encourage them. And if you're watching this on YouTube or on my website, please feel encouraged to join us at The Glint, Being Brave Enough to Be You, on Facebook, and I'd love to meet you and connect there. All right, everybody, signing off. We'll see you later.